It was the eyes that haunted Maria long after the fog had dissipated, vacant, unblinking, fixed on her with an intensity that saw right through her. She'd seen many unsettling things in the sterile halls of the hospital, but nothing prepared her for the chilling emptiness she encountered in the pre-dawn gloom of Elm Park. The fluorescent hum of St. Jude's Hospital always seemed to carry a bittersweet melody at the end of a grueling night shift, relief tinged with the lingering echoes of human vulnerability. For Maria, a seasoned nurse, that familiar hum usually ushered in the quiet promise of dawn and the comforting routine of her walk home. But the pre-dawn air this morning felt different, thick with cloying fog that muted the city's pulse and painted the familiar streets in shades of an unsettling gray. It was a kind of fog that whispered secrets and made shadows dance with a life of their own, a prelude, she would soon discover, to a very real nightmare. Her shortcut through Elm Park, usually a brief communion with the quiet of nature before the bustle of the day, felt ominous under the heavy shroud of mist. The wrought iron gates loomed like skeletal fingers, barely visible in the swirling vapor. A primal instinct, a whisper of unease she couldn't quite place, urged her to stick to the well-lit main road. But the lure of those stolen minutes, the ingrained habit of the path, and a stubborn refusal to succumb to the creeping anxiety won out. Each step on the damp pavement was swallowed by the fog, amplifying the unnerving silence. The familiar shapes of trees and benches morphed into ghostly figures, their stillness oddly expectant. Maria found herself quickening her pace, her senses on high alert, scanning the obscured landscape for any sign of movement that didn't belong. Then, through the swirling gray, a figure materialized on a bench ahead. Not the casual slouch of a morning commuter, or the huddled form of someone seeking shelter. This was a rigid silhouette, unnervingly still, the hunched posture radiating an almost palpable tension. He was facing away, and Maria told herself it was nothing, just someone lost in their thoughts. But the air around him seemed to vibrate with an unseen energy, a silent alarm bell ringing softly in the back of her mind. As she drew closer, a prickle of goosebumps rose on her arms. The man remained motionless, his dark coat blending seamlessly with the shadows. The silence between them stretched, taut and suffocating. Maria debated crossing the wet grass, but the fog was too disorienting, the risk of stumbling too high. She would just pass him quickly. She decided, keep her eyes forward and pretend she hadn't seen him. But just as she was about to draw a level with the bench, he moved. It wasn't a natural shift, a stretch against the cold. It was a slow, deliberate turn of his head, a mechanical motion that sent a jolt of pure dread through Maria. And then she saw his face, pale and gaunt, his features sharpened by the diffused light. It was his eyes that stole her breath. They locked onto hers with an unnerving intensity, yet they held no warmth, no recognition, only a chilling, vacant stare that seemed to pierce through her into some desolate, unseen space. He didn't speak, didn't twitch, didn't offer any human acknowledgement. He simply looked, and in that look, Maria felt a primal fear awaken, a sense of being utterly exposed and vulnerable. Every instinct screamed for flight. Her legs felt heavy, unresponsive, but she forced herself to keep walking, her heart hammering a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She could feel his gaze like a physical weight on her back, and the silence behind her was now broken by a new sound, a slow, deliberate footstep. He was following. Terror, cold and sharp, lanced through her. She broke into a run, the ragged gasp of her own breath echoing in the fog-choked air. The sound of his footsteps behind her remained steady, relentless, a slow, measured pursuit that was far more terrifying than any frantic chase. It spoke of an unwavering intent, a silent promise of something sinister. The fog became a disorienting maze, blurring the path, turning familiar landmarks into menacing shapes. Maria stumbled, her lungs burning, the stitch in her side a searing reminder of her exhaustion. But the image of those vacant eyes spurred her on, the chilling certainty of a pursuit fueling her desperate flight. Finally, the dim outline of the park's edge loomed through the mist, the streetlights beyond offering a fragile promise of safety. She burst onto the deserted road, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Her apartment building felt miles away, her keys a fumbling, useless weight in her trembling hand. The steady rhythm of his footsteps was closer now, echoing in the oppressive silence. With a desperate lunge, she jammed the key into the lock. The click a small victory against a rising tide of panic. She stumbled inside, slamming the door shut and throwing the deadbolt with shuddering finality. Leaning against the cool wood, her body trembling, Maria listened. The footsteps outside stopped. A silence more profound and terrifying than before descended. She crept to the peephole, her eyes wide with fear, but the swirling fog revealed nothing. The memory of that encounter, the vacant stare in the pre-dawn fog, clung to Maria like the dampness in the air. Even as the sun finally burned through the mist, a cold dread lingered, a chilling reminder the night her routine walk home became a terrifying brush with the unknown. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed that chilling story and love delving into real-life scary encounters, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more unsettling narratives. Give this video a like if it kept you on the edge of your seat. And don't forget to share this video with your friends who appreciate a good dose of the creepy and unexplained. Let's build a community of those who dare to listen to the shadows.